Endurance sport has never seen anything like this. Teams of two racing every hour of every day for 3 months, non-stop around the world. The Barcelona World Race will head into the most dangerous and wild oceans on the planet and will test sailing machines and human relationships to breaking point. It's been 6 weeks since 9 teams left Barcelona to race non-stop around the world. Since the fleet entered the brutal Southern Ocean, staying in one piece has been the name of the game. First, the race favourites saw their mast break. Then 2 more 100-foot masts crashed down. Teams stranded in open ocean. 4 boats have been broken and are out of the race, but all crews are safe. 5 two-person teams are still competing. And the leaders, the French-Irish duo on Patrick Verback, will soon be past the halfway stage, New Zealand. But they're under attack from Britain's Alex Thompson on Hugo Boss, who after nearly 13,000 miles of racing is just 12 miles off the lead. But Thompson has just called race control in Barcelona and shared a secret. Patrick Verback are the first boat through the Cook Straits on December the 26th. They were seen as the wild cards of the fleet before the race began. A maverick French skipper who 6 years ago earned his living as a vet, teamed up with one of the most experienced offshore sailors in the world, a straight-talking Irishman with 300,000 miles of ocean racing behind him.
Since 9 months now, we've been working towards a very clear goal. We're building the boat, we're sailing the boat in, we're tuning the rig, we're preparing the sail program. Then it's a new job list and new targets to hit, and that's to continue to sail fast, reliably, stay with the front of the pack and to keep up a steady rhythm for 3 months.
It's a tense time on board Patrick Verback as Damien and Jean-Pierre thread their way through the narrow Cook Straits with only a slender lead over Hugo Boss and head off into the Pacific Ocean. Just 15 hours behind them, it's the British boat Hugo Boss. The wind has arrived and she powers her way through the race gate, gaining on the leader with every mile. But then, in perfect sailing conditions, British skipper Alex Thompson pulls the sails down. He turns his motor on and heads for land. This is what Alex Thompson has been keeping quiet. His boat is damaged and he's making a pit stop. But this is no knee-jerk reaction. Meticulously planned from the team HQ in the UK, shore crew and race engineers have been flown halfway around the world in secret to meet the boat and get her back in the race. Race rules dictate that Hugo Boss must stop for a minimum of 48 hours.
The reason for our pit stop here is we've got some problems with our rudders. They're kick-up rudders, so they're designed to come up, but they're designed to come up when we want them to come up. And unfortunately our rudders at the moment seem to have a desire to point to the sky rather than to the seabed. It's something that we need to sort out to make sure we're fully confident and ready to go back in the Southern Ocean.
The reason Alex Thompson kept his pit stop a secret was he didn't want the leader, Patrick Verback, to hear about it until they'd passed New Zealand. Otherwise they may have been tempted to stop too.
Hugo Boss has stopped. They're tied up at the quay now in Wellington. Does that change what you're doing at all?
We had a big discussion about that this afternoon. It is important now more than ever to find the right compromise between speed and safety. I think anything can happen. We're still only halfway around the world. We've still got 11,000 miles to sail.
1,000 miles behind the race leader are the all-Spanish team of Javier Sanso and Pachi Rivera on Mucho Madrilena. They're both on the first lap of the planet, but the logic of the Hugo Boss surprise pit stop is not lost on them.
What is your reaction to Hugo Boss stopping in Wellington?
He probably didn't like to stop. Nobody likes to lose miles against the leaders, but I think they're trying to be a little bit conservative. I think Alex has had 2 races prior to this, very, very unsuccessful and very, very unlucky. And this was the 3rd time, and I think he's taking it a little bit easy, and I think it's very common sense.
Suddenly, for Mucho Madrilena, there's everything to play for. They're now up to 4th place and are crossing the South Tasman Sea, heading for New Zealand, with third place Temenos in their sights.
Está Bobby. Buenos días, Bobby.
It's like the Caribbean. Let's go and see the temperature of the water. You can see the sea is beginning to get rough. It's really freezing.
I know Pachi for many years. We sail together and against each other in many situations. We trust each other 100%. Pachi is one of the best sailors in the world to just tuning up boats and tuning up rigs and preparing a boat to make it fast.
Neither Javier or Pachi have ever sailed around the world before. The weeks of separation from home and normality are new to them. And it's a test for not just their relationship as teammates, but for those they've left behind.
My wife Marta and I have been together for about 20 years. Of course, we call talk every day when I am at sea, but she doesn't like to. She prefers to talk just once a week to make sure I am okay.
They live in Mallorca with their son Iñaki, aged 9, and daughter Pachi, 15.
Para Pachi, la idea de dar una vuelta al mundo.
For Pachi, the idea of sailing around the world started when he was already young. When I met him, he was already talking about it. I think he has found the perfect race because he's happiest at sea.
Pierde un poquito más que en el mar.
Hola, papi. Bien, ¿y tú?
Oh, qué guay. La próxima vuelta al mundo la hago contigo.
No, la hago yo.
It's been a remarkable story for the Spanish pair. The least experienced round-the-world sailors in the second oldest boat in the fleet, but they're now on the verge of taking third place.
We were always thinking fourth position would be great. Anything above fourth would be unimaginable, almost impossible.
10 days ago, the boat in front of them, Temenos, noticed a potentially catastrophic problem with their keel. A crack in their keel could mean not only the end of their race, but a life-threatening capsize. Hundreds of miles from land, any rescue could be fraught with danger. They're nursing their boat towards Wellington.
Obviously, we're a bit down. We were already quite down because of our position, and now it's very likely that we'll be right out of contention, or have to stop altogether, because we can't continue with such a level of uncertainty about the keel.
As Temenos 2 desperately tries to reach Wellington in safety, the pit lane is buzzing. Hugo Boss's shore team have worked throughout the night and into the day to get the British boat back in the race. And as their support team gears up, the skippers wind down.
I spent 45 days at sea before I came here. So I came here and I walked up that dock and I got in a car and I drove to the hotel, and on the way to the hotel we stopped at McDonald's, had a cheeseburger, and then I booked myself into a 5-star hotel and slept in a normal bed. Woke up in the morning, turned the cable on.
If your boat's not right and you've got another 40 days at sea, and given the placing we had in the race and where the opposition are, it was logical. And the only disappointment is, yeah, we don't get around the world non-stop, but if our boat is as best we can make it and reliable as we can make it, I mean, our best chances of winning this race now are completing it.
Hugo Boss leaves Wellington exactly 48 hours after she arrived. Will this pit stop cost Alex Thompson any chance of winning the race? Or heading back to sea after repairs and a Southern Ocean service? Could this turn out to be a winning move for the British skipper? With Hugo Boss 900 miles behind them, race leader Patrick Verback are in their strongest position in the race so far. But in an instant, there are problems on board. They collide with a mysterious underwater object. Miles from anywhere, a pit stop is not an option. And as they sail at speed, Damien Foxall attempts a precarious repair.
The ability of the crew to repair is a main asset and the main success of this race. You are going in spots of the sea where obviously there is a chance that you can have serious trouble.
But in these icy Southern Ocean waters, there are far more lethal things to collide with.
Something to put in your drink. That's a big one. Just crossing. Damian was at the steering right now, and saw this big mass on the water. Just a frightening moment. You see the growlers at the right-hand side.
Growlers are small chunks of ice, breakaways from larger icebergs. They're often undetectable by the boat's radar and barely visible, submerged in the water. Hit one at speed, and the consequences could be unthinkable. The battle of nerves continues for the team on Temenos, worried their keel may snap at any time. And Alex Thompson on board British boat Hugo Boss begins a remarkable fight back as he pushes to take the lead in the Barcelona World Race. The Barcelona World Race fleet is now halfway round the planet. British boat Hugo Boss has made a dramatic dive into New Zealand for repairs. She's had just 48 hours to get back in the race and chase down leader Papret Verbeek, who's pushing hard to extend her advantage. And Temenos, her keel cracked and dangerously vulnerable, on board an anxious crew, heading for the safety of land. On New Year's Day, 1,500 miles after they first noticed their keel problems, Michel Perret and Dominic Varve divert from the racecourse to nurse Temenos into port for the first time in 52 days.
We go a little bit slowly, so we save the keel, we save the boat. But to go to the South Pacific with that, we cannot, in our mind, it's no way to go.
As the boat is lifted out of the water, all eyes are on the critical keel pivot area, where the crack was noticed.
There's something going on there. Oh, we still don't know. We still don't know because we need to examine the keel on top and with some very technical things. In fact, we need to know what's going on in the molecular inside the iron.
1,000 miles behind and down at 48 degrees south, the youngest skipper in the fleet, 26-year-old Savannah Scoffier, and Spanish skipper Albert Vargas, on board Educación Sin Fronteras, are feeling the full force of a depression that's racing across the Indian Ocean.
So, are you sad, Savannah?
No, I'm thinking. It's not very warm, is it?
Are you on cold?
Yes, a bit. My skin is starting to peel off. We need special hands to be able to sail in these freezing seas. If I had them, I'll be okay.
What are we doing here? It's grey and cold. My hands are frozen, but it's wonderful.
In Wellington, Dominic Varve has news about his damaged keel. And the news is good. Temenos is still in the race.
The tests we have been done on the iron of the keel shows that she's in complete integrity, so she's like new. Well, not like new, but pretty close, and so we are okay to leave, yeah.
But as Temenos is preparing to get back into the race, a surprise. The boat they expected to sail past them instead joins them in Wellington. On Mucho Madrilena, Javier and Pachi have made the tough decision to stop.
No son exactamente, nunca.
I couldn't say Pachi and Javier are exactly lifelong friends, but from what I have seen on the internet, they are getting along amazingly well.
Se están llevando fenomenal. Yo te diría que si a lo mejor han tenido.
I would say that if there was one place that had a bit of disagreement, it was Wellington.
Podría haber sido en la parada en Wellington. Javier Sansó tenía muy claro que.
Javier Sansó knew very well they had to stop. Pachi didn't want to stop at all. It was like his dream was over.
You know, for the mentality, I think it's not very good, but this race is non-stop, and we stop, and for me, it's not very happy.
We had two major problems with the canard and then also the mass rotation. And today we had also a keel problem with the hydraulic, which I think is going to be it's going to be easy to fix. And it was very hard because we could have got some mileage on Temenos. We had very good wind. But life is life. We still have 12,000 miles around the world, and we need to fix some things.
It's only been 4 days since Hugo Boss left Wellington, but the British boat has gained 400 miles on the leaders. They may have lost time ashore, but the boat is back in top condition and the crew are recharged.
How big a difference has it made to be able to leave with fresh supplies and at least I would assume a week's worth of fresh food and not freeze-dried?
It's made a huge difference. I mean, mentally, just having the mind right and having a good sleep was worth it. But just having nice stuff on the boat, fresh food, getting all my washing done was like having a whole new set of clothes, because weather gear's all dry, boots all dry. You wouldn't believe how it feels to have all that stuff in place.
But for leaders Patrick Verback, it's been 8 weeks at sea non-stop. No resupply of fresh food and no clean clothes.
I'm going to wring out all this stuff, get the water out of it. So when I wake up, hopefully it'll be dry. And I'm going to put a pair of dry socks on for sleeping, but that's my last pair of dry socks for 6,000 miles.
Back in Wellington, Pasci and Javier are racing the clock. They're desperately trying to get Mutua Madrilena back with the fleet. But unlike Hugo Boss, the all-Spanish team haven't got the luxury of a professional shore crew. Their keel nightmare behind them, Michel and Dominique leave Wellington, secure in the knowledge that Temenos is ready to face the Southern Ocean again. On Hugo Boss, the optimism of a few days ago has quickly disappeared. 800 miles in front of them, Patrick Verback are going fast. They've picked up a low-pressure system with strong winds. Hugo Boss has missed the bus.
There we go. Look at that. There you go. Can you see the sunlight there? The Southern Ocean is like a mill pond. It's pretty amazing, actually. Actually, like a mill pond, and the boat's hardly moving there, as you can see. We could sit here and go, oh, it's not fair, and Patrick's so lucky and we're so unlucky, but the fact of the matter is we stopped for 48 hours and you can't really expect to compete equally and to be right up next to him the week after you stopped.
The might of the Southern Ocean has twice defeated Alex Thompson, but in this race, it's an unnatural calm that stopped him in his tracks.
There's only one thing that's important for Alex. Alex is always thinking about winning.
He was a bit wayward for a while, and we kind of suggested that he do a course.
Well, he got into sailing when he moved from the Shetlands down to here. Some friends of ours, a Navy captain, had a 505 dinghy that he used to lend Alex. He'd spend the week mending the boat. Alex would spend the weekends breaking it, often doing spectacularly well, but equally having spectacular crashes, very much like he does nowadays. Look after stuff. Yeah. I think, like most fathers, we've had our ups and downs, and I think we have a very strong bond. He went through a very difficult time when his mother died, and he's got through that, and yeah, we're very close now. Having KP on the boat's the best possible thing for him this time round, because he's twice had major problems in the same place in the Southern Ocean. He hasn't cracked the Southern Ocean on his own. KP's got such a lot of experience. He's such a mature person. He really couldn't have had a better person with him, I don't think.
After an exhausting 48 hours working round the clock, Javier and Pasci have Mutua Madrilena ready to rejoin the fight.
We fixed more things and better fixed than I thought we would, and we're quite happy, and it was very, very much worth to stop here at Wellington. I think today about 9 o'clock, we should even have the food on board and everything should be ready to go.
Mutua Madrilena has a fast getaway from New Zealand and is able to make up miles on Temenos within the first day. So the battle for third is really on. Despite their 48-hour head start, Temenos have only a 150-mile lead over Mutua Madrilena.
It's quite frustrating because we had a bad timing getting out of Wellington. We don't feel that there's a lot of justice into that, so it's not very fair. So that's the reason why we are not so happy about the situation right now, but it will be better in a few days.
The one team still not to pass Wellington is Educación Sin Fronteras, and they spent almost 2 days completely becalmed off the New Zealand coast.
It's the morning of the 6th and we're approaching New Zealand. The wind is coming a little bit, but it was very difficult last night. It's strange to think we've sailed to the end of the world in this boat, and now we have to come back. So it's not over yet, but it's still something special. There we are, and look how beautiful the sky is.
The wind has at last filled in for Educación Sin Fronteras. She enters the Cook Straits, and Savannah and Albert become only the second team not to make a pit stop in Wellington. It's a huge achievement. The lead boats are approaching the end of the Southern Ocean, and a place that sailors have feared for generations.
Cape Horn. It's a concentration of tide, bad weather, depth pressure, in a closed area with big waves, so it's obviously dangerous. And in fact, it's full of history. A lot of seamen died here. You have a lot of ship under your feet sinking.
I think when we go there, we have to think about all these people because they open the way for us.
I've been sailing since I've been a child, and I've done a lot of offshore sailing. This is my 7th round the world event. I think experience counts for a lot.
But for me, Cape Horn is a dream. Each time I do that, I enlarge my ability to be a skipper, and each time it's a dream comes true.
On the morning of day 61, Patrick Verback approaches Cape Horn. The weather's been kind and they're able to cut the corner. With almost a 1,000-mile lead over the British boat, Damien and Jean-Pierre can now turn their backs on the Southern Ocean. But the route north will punish complacency. British skipper Alex Thompson on Hugo Boss will know that his chances of victory are far from over. Exhausted teams and tired boats battle north up the Atlantic. A cruel twist of fate adds drama to the fight at the front. The danger is that something or someone may break.